We don't know exactly how we're going to start this show because I want to do it one way.
And I want to do it another way.
So we're not going to have an actual introduction, but
No.
we figure you should probably know who we are. So we'll introduce ourselves. I'm Shelley.
And I'm Alex, and this is going to be a great show.
Yes, it's going to be a great show. But
Shelley, are you going to join me?
I'm not going to join you because one of us has to stay mature in this, and being a recent 50-year-old, I just turned 50.
And you're
I will
loving
enjoy.
that, right?
I love being 50. I absolutely love it, and I have 2 little boys that just keep me youthful.
And they're not too little though.
Well, they're both over 6'4". Nate is 22 and Brett is 20.
And girls, check them out. Ow, ow.
Okay, go tall jeans, but the girls, you got to get through mom first. So,
But don't worry, she's really a sweetheart.
they have to also get past Duke, our dog. He doesn't really know he's a dog, so please don't anybody mention to him that he's a dog.
Oh, little Dookie, he's at doggy daycare right now, isn't he?
He's at doggy daycare so that I can have a life, so we can do this, and I can actually have a life outside of my dog.
And what does Miss Shelley like to do on her free time?
Okay, I recently took up golf, so I am so excited. About a month ago, I got all the cute outfits, so I was ready to go, and apparently you cannot call yourself a golfer until you have golf clubs. So as of last week, I got all my golf clubs, and now I'm a golfer. Check.
Life goals!
Yes, I'm super excited to get into that. But enough about me, let's learn a little bit about you, Alex.
Well, I brought a picture of my family too. Here are my 2 brothers.
Okay, good looking boys.
Okay, Shelley, you know my older brother's dating someone. He's dating that beautiful girl to his left, but she's pretty much like my sister. And then that's Bobby, and the next one over is Mikey, my little brother.
Oh, I'm sure he loves being called Mikey.
Well, it's so funny because I tell stories about him to my friends and they ask me how old he is, and I tell them that he's about to turn 20. And they're so confused because they tell me that all this time they thought he was a toddler. Like,
Well, the way you talk about him, yes.
yeah. And then that's my mom and my dad, and they're great.
They really are great. I knew their parents before I knew Alex, and they are a wonderful family.
Yeah.
So now, share something interesting about yourself, please.
Well, talking about life goals, I've always wanted to go skydiving. I just think it'd be so thrilling to go plummeting to the ground. Like,
I'm sure your parents absolutely love that thought.
well, they tell me that I'm gonna either break my ankle or break my leg, so they don't think I should go, but I think since I'm sharing it with you, it will give me an opportunity to go in the future and share it with you on a later episode.
Okay, you can share your skydiving. I'll share some stories on golf, and we'll just see how that all turns out, because this show, we're not exactly sure where God's gonna take us with this, but
No.
we're showing up here and we're doing the show, and
Yep.
you know, stay tuned and see exactly all the interesting things that we end up doing. I don't know what we're gonna do. But
I don't know either.
skydiving, golfing, whatever it is.
He's gonna surprise us, and hopefully we're gonna surprise you in a good way.
Yes, exactly. And there should be a lot of laughter and a lot of fun in this show, because we tend to laugh a lot when we're together.
We do.
Probably because we're the only ones who understand each other with our unique way of looking at life. But no. But anything.
Wait, do you have something funny for me? Because I feel like you always make me laugh. You always have something going on.
Well, I've got something. I don't know how funny it is, but let's see. You know those bloopers that they have in church bulletins?
like
I'm
like an actual church bulletins.
Well, actually, it was on the internet, but I'm sure that anything on the internet is true. So, and I found it funny. So we're gonna take a look at these. All right. So the first one is, okay, our youth basketball team is back in action Wednesday at 8 p.m. in the recreation hall. Come out and watch us kill Christ the King. Oh, okay, well,
What?
Pharisees, way to go.
That's so terrible.
Okay.
Can we share that?
I'm not sure if that's appropriate or not, but let's move on to the next
But
one.
we just did.
We did. Okay, I've got one more. All right. Low self-esteem support group will meet Thursday at 7 p.m. Please use the back door. Oh,
No.
okay. That doesn't make him feel any worse.
Sad.
Well.
Hashtag lower self-esteem.
Speaking of hashtags, I'm only allowed to use so many hashtags in each of my Instagrams. My sons have limited me to hashtags, and they've limited me to Facebook statuses each day. So the good thing is they cannot tell me how many emojis I can use when I text you, though.
Oh, okay,
So,
good.
yeah.
Oh, I've noticed that.
Yeah, so we look at the.
Yeah, I think if we could, I think we would only use emojis rather than words.
Yes, that's how I would talk. If I totally in emojis.
Oh, look at how far our relationship has come.
We have come so far. Our growth and friendship and who we are
Yeah.
and sitting here right now. And whatever this show takes us, we just cannot wait to see what happens. But
Yeah.
I think with all our laughter and our fun, there's also a serious side to us. But I know that you've been praying about wherever God is taking us also. And I'd love to you to share with us kind of your story and where we're at with
Yeah,
that.
thanks, Shelley. Well, okay, well, first of all, we needed the prayers because who knew a 30-minute segment could be so difficult to put together? Did you know?
I knew it was that long, that hard, but I didn't want to tell Alex because then she wouldn't do it with me.
Oh, okay, well, all I can say is thank God for miracles.
Woo, woo.
And I just feel like the Lord wants us to share about His love for us. And I feel like He wants me to share my personal story about how He has changed my life and given me so much joy and fullness.
And I've known you for years, and you've always been she's always been a really happy person when she walked into a room, but now the joy and the light just shines from her. She illuminates, and you can totally see a huge change in her from the past, and it's been exciting to watch. So
Thanks,
yes,
Shelley.
yeah.
Well, yeah, like exactly what you were saying. I've changed so much since college started. I mean, I'm the same Alex Mason as I was before in high school and middle school, but I think the Lord has really shown me who I am in Him, and I think through that He's really given me this confidence. He's really given me this joy and fullness that I never had before. And I think that this is the kind of happiness that every single person desires. I mean, no one wakes up in the morning telling themselves, I want to have a terrible day. I want to wake up mad. I want to wake up depressed. I want to wake up super stressed out. No one says that. We wake up in the morning wanting to have the best day of our lives.
And a cup of coffee.
Or a cup of water.
Yes.
I don't drink coffee, so.
I do. Okay, I'm not gonna drink that right now.
I'm actually thirsty, so. And this is the kind of happiness that I wanted too. But the thing is, I thought I had this happiness in middle school and high school because my life did seem to be so fulfilling. And it's not until I got the real thing that I realized how empty my happiness was then.
Well, and I feel like that's something that any age person feels like they have emptiness in their lives and they're looking to fill it with something. And
Yeah.
whatever that might be, for middle school or high school, it's the same thing for adults in my age group. So, it's the Lord is the only thing that can really fill us to the full and provide what we need to have that inner joy that comes out of us, like you just said.
Yeah, and I think, I've realized that as I've grown closer to Him. But when I was in middle school and high school, I searched for happiness in worldly things. I searched for it in my family, which have always been so great, so supportive, encouraging, and it showed me unconditional love. I've searched for it in popularity, I've searched for it in my friends, I've searched for it in boys, I've searched for it in academic success, I've searched for it in teamwork. And I have to say teamwork because I have two brothers, so I can't be too competitive.
Well, they would overrun you with their competitiveness and their athleticism, but go teamwork. Go teamwork.
Go teamwork. I've searched for it in the affirmations I've received through text messages, and I've even searched for it in being a good girl, a good Christian girl, but I really lacked the depth in my relationship with God. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, I thought I had found this happiness because in all of these aspects of my life, they seem to be fulfilling. And according to the world, I was a successful child, a successful high school student, whatever that means for an 18-year-old.
Well, and success for any age really is defined by the world in such a different way than the way God intended us to do. He has such greater things for us, and to find it at your age, my passion is for young adults to be able to find that and to know it early on in their lives, like you seem to be doing. So that's why we were sharing this, is your story and other stories, because this is just so important, and any age really.
Yeah, no, I would totally agree. And I think like my childhood and kind of how my life has progressed, I guess, really reminds me of a picture that my friend Alex Spanton showed me. And he showed me this picture, And it's, as you can see, it's this girl just grasping onto this little teddy bear. And I was that little girl. I was grasping on to the life that I loved so much, the life I knew. And Jesus was there before me, saying the whole entire time, trust in me. And he had with him a life that he wanted to bless me with, which was so much better than I could have ever imagined. And it wasn't until I let go and really accepted what he wanted to give me until I could really see the blessings that he had, because he wasn't going to force that upon me, because that's not what love is. And so I began to put my trust in him really in high school, but this was a process.
And I've seen you grow through that process, and I've seen my own friends and people in my own age group growing in a process to get to know the Lord more and more and more, and to understand his love for us and to live out what he has for us. His character is so amazing, but each day it's exciting because we're never going to know everything about him. And so to know him more and more each day is an exciting journey.
It really is. And he really shows us. And this was totally a process for me, except it took time. I went into college, I think like most college students, and I think people at any age, I went into college imagining what my college experience should look like. I went in thinking I was going to make friends with popular girls who were pretty, social, fun, spontaneous, and who liked to party, but accepted my choice not to drink and not to join in the hookup culture and to go to church on Sundays. And the thing is, I found 3 beautiful, hilarious, spontaneous girls, but one thing was so different about them. And that is that they loved Jesus. And you could tell this about them. I mean, they seriously just glowed with the confidence of who they were in Jesus. And you could even tell that they really loved Jesus, and it affected how they acted. They didn't try to find their happiness in drinking. They didn't try to find their happiness in the hookup culture. They didn't try to find their happiness in becoming friends with the right people. I mean, you could tell that they were genuinely so nice to everyone. And I think this really drew everyone to them, because if you were around them, you couldn't help but want to become best friends with them. And I think through their friendship, I began to change. And I think a lot of times we have no idea how our actions affect those around us, because their actions affected me so much. And I began to see those who love Jesus as not just as weirdos, because I think that's kind of what I thought beforehand, as bad as that sounds.
Well, we are a little weird, but in the way that we're weird. That's
as you guys have seen.
We can, loving Jesus, you can be weird and you can be funny, but it's also it's a seriousness to it. But God has a sense of humor.
Yeah, and I found out that people who love Jesus are actually really cool. And I think through this, I gave myself permission to start trusting the Lord, to start giving up what I thought that life should look like, and really trusting what the Lord had to give me. But there was another big stage that came after this. And later in my freshman year, I was seeing a great guy. He could sing and play the guitar, and any girl knows that this just kind of steals a girl's heart. And he was athletic, funny, social, and he was just great. But I felt a sense that I shouldn't be seeing him anymore. And this wasn't about him, but this was about the Lord wanting a relationship with me. And this was the first time I heard and then responded to the stirrings of the Holy Spirit, because I don't think I would have broken up with him otherwise. I mean, maybe he would have broken up with me, but I liked him a lot. And I realized that afterwards, I had found my value in that relationship. And I think that we're all at risk of this. I think we're all at risk of losing ourselves in that boy or girl that we're seeing if our center is not first Christ. And
every relationship that we are in really should be centered on Christ. That really is where the joy and the fulfillment and the purpose in our lives comes forth and shines through us.
Yeah. No. I completely agree.
Yes. You can't argue with that one. You can't argue with that one.
No, not at all. And I found a lot of comfort in that relationship. And it's funny because I'm like Miss Chatty Cathy at nighttime. Like if my friends all know that past 10 o'clock, all of a sudden I'm like, da-da-da-da-da. So at night when I would go to bed in my freshman year, my roommate would be like sleeping over here, morgue, and I would normally take my phone and text this boy 500 text messages, but now I'd pick up my phone to no text message. And this was sad because I think we receive a lot of affirmation when we know that someone out there is thinking of us, when someone out there likes us. And I remember I'd pick up the phone and I'd want to text him, but I knew I shouldn't. So I'd put it back down and I would lay in bed in the darkness and silence of my room, and I'd be sad. But this was the first time that I felt the personal love of Jesus. I literally felt his arms around me. And I would weep sometimes just because this was incredible. This was life-changing. And I started to fall in love with him. And as the year went on, I realized that as I was falling deeper and deeper in love with him, this love started to transform the way I thought about myself, the way I thought about others, the way that I acted. Instead of waking up in the morning and looking at my phone to see if I got a text message from this boy, I would wake up and I would say, "Good morning, Jesus." And as the day would continue, I wouldn't act in ways that I thought other people would like, but I acted in ways where I thought, okay, I'm giving glory to God. And imagine how much of a difference this made in my life. Huge.
Oh, and in my life, I find out that I wake up and that every day is a new adventure, and I walk into it. I am excited each day to get up and to see what the Lord has waiting for me. It's growing every day, my relationship with him.
Yeah, and I found that to be true with me too, because I literally fell in love with him so fast. But then the amazing part is that I found out that I kept falling in love with him, and I still do to this day. And I remember my sophomore year in college, we went on a retreat, and it was with a Christian organization. And there was about 200 students sitting on this bare floor of this huge room, and we got in groups of about 3 to 5 people. And we started praying for one another. And when we were praying for one another, people started to prophesy. People started to speak in tongues. People were even healed. And this is the first time in my life that I knew in my heart, not only in my head, but in my heart, that the Lord from the Bible, the God from yesterday, is the same God as today.
Yeah.
And
he's relevant. He is alive. He is here. And there are so many more stories that we don't even hear about. And I love hearing about it in the young adults, but I also hear about them in my age group of people and people that I know, and they just aren't shared enough. So I think that they need to be shared because God is relevant today.
He is. He totally is. And I didn't realize that God is not only in the ordinary, but he's also in the extraordinary. And one of my friends, Bryce, he's going to share his story with you about his experience on this retreat. And I think he realized the same exact thing, that our God is an extraordinary God.
Okay, so a year ago, I studied abroad in Italy for a month, and I loved it. I loved the architecture, and we actually went to church as a class for the first time in a long time, for me at least. I grew up in a Christian family, but we were the type of family that would only go to church for like special occasions or holidays. And also I went to a private school for 9 years. So when I got back, I realized how much I missed church when I went. And when I got back from studying abroad, I called up my best friend since first grade. He went to school with me, and he was in the same place I was. He also didn't go to church in a while, so I was like, you want to start going? And he said, yeah, let's do it. So we started going regularly, and then I was introduced to someone who is a mission leader for SPO, which is St. Paul's Outreach, which is a Christian outreach program on campus. And she explained this opportunity to go to this retreat for the upcoming weekend. And right away I was like, this isn't for me. I feel like everyone who goes to this is super holy and I'm just not worthy to be there. But I looked at my friend and we were like, let's just do it. So we ended up saying, let's just go. So we went. And while this was all happening, I had a cyst inside me on my pelvis. And what a cyst is, it's like a clumped up ball of tissue. And it was on my pelvis. It started off small, but it grew. I had it for 2 years and it just recently started growing. And it got to the point where it would hurt when I do anything like physical activities. I'd run and it'd start hurting, even when I'd sleep. I mean, I didn't go to church a whole lot, but my prayer life was good, so I'd pray before I went to bed for relief, so I wouldn't wake up in the middle of the night in pain. It got to the point where I was just so sick of it, I called my doctor to get rid of it, and he stitched me up and got it out on Thursday, and we were going to leave for the retreat on Friday. And so everything was good, and then I fell asleep Thursday night going into Friday morning, and in the middle of the night my stitches ripped, and the cyst was the size of a dime, so there was like the size of a dime, like a hole in my body, and I was like in a pool of blood, and it hurt really bad. I somehow got the strength to get up, go to the bathroom and grab a bunch of tissue and just hold it there and just clog the wound, and I somehow fell asleep. And then I woke up early in the morning, called my doctor and explained the situation, and he said, lucky for you, I have an opening right now. If you come down, I could stitch you up again. So I drove to the hospital and I got stitches again, and this was Friday morning, and we were leaving for the retreat in a few hours. And at this point I was like, okay, I definitely shouldn't go to this retreat. Like, there's so many signs pointing in the other direction. So I still went, and I loved the retreat. I was in a small group with my best friend since first grade. We were in the same small group together, which made it more comfortable. And my small group leader was talking about spiritual healings, like if you pray over someone and pray for healing, they could help you with whatever is going on. And I kind of brushed it off. I didn't really believe in. I believed that it could happen because growing up I'd always hear stories about how God, like, doctors can't explain how some cancer just disappears and stuff like that. So I kind of believed it, but I didn't really know for sure. So when we prayed over each other, I didn't even think about being prayed for my injury. I just ignored it for the most part. And then, so this was a weekend-long retreat. I got back Sunday morning. Right when I got back, I took a shower. And I looked down and I noticed that my stitches were gone. They were disintegrated and disappeared. And at first I thought, wait, did God heal me? But then I was like, no, I was probably overreacting. I didn't really know what to think of it. So I called up my friend who went on the retreat with me, my best friend, because I felt like he was the only one that knew the position I was in. And he just said, you're probably overreacting, call your doctor. I said, okay. So I called my doctor, and I asked if it was when the stitches should disappear, and he said you should see the stitches disappear, disintegrate in like 3 to 4 weeks, and then there should be a noticeable scar. And at this point, the scar wasn't even that noticeable. It was really small. And then I hung up the phone, and I freaked out a little bit, but he also made the joke, like, it'd be a miracle if they were just gone, and you'd probably be right back in here getting stitched up again. And he laughed, and I didn't really think it was really funny, but yeah, so to this day, I don't even have a scar. Like, the scar's not even noticeable. There's just a dark spot there. So I believe God healed me.
Wow, that is such an amazing story. God is so incredible.
Yeah, I'm so amazed every single time I hear him talk about his story. Mm-hmm. It is amazing, because this is a true story happening in an ordinary college kid's life. And the crazy thing is that no one can deny that this is God. I mean, like that doctor was saying, there's no way to explain this. And this is God working here on earth. This is God here today. It's his kingdom here on earth.
He's present, and we feel that this is part of the show that we would like to bring to you, the stories that are you're not hearing other places, and the humor. God has a sense of humor, so we're going to add in a little bit of Shelley and Alex to everything that we do, and so you'll never know. You'll never know what you're going to get with us, but really we're excited to go on this journey with you. Continue to watch us, and may the Lord's favor bring you to an amazing place so you recognize His presence and His love all around you. Amen.
Amen.